Hello everyone. Welcome to yet another session of English grammar. Today we are going to learn about adverbs. Let's begin. What is an adverb? An adverb is a word that modifies or describes a verb, an adjective, another adverb, or even a whole sentence. Let us break up the definition and look at each one of these individually. Adverbs and verbs. Adverbs often modify verbs. This means that they describe the way an action is happening. For example, Rita sings loudly in the shower. My dog waits impatiently for his food. I will seriously consider your suggestion. However, there is one type of verb that doesn't mix well with adverbs, and those are linking verbs. Linking verbs such as feel, smell, sound, seem, and appear typically need adjectives and not adverbs. So if you say, I feel badly about what happened, it is incorrect. You should rather say, I feel bad about what happened. Adverbs and adjectives. Adverbs can also modify adjectives. Often, the purpose of an adverb is to add a degree of intensity to the adjective. For example, the woman is quite pretty. Or, this book is more interesting than the last one. Adverbs and other adverbs. You can use an adverb to describe another adverb. For example, the weather report is almost always right. So the adverb almost is modifying the adverb always, and they are both modifying right. In fact, in some sentences, you could use several adverbs together. Look at this one here. Ron sings rather too loudly. The only problem is that it often produces weak and clunky sentences like this one here. So be careful not to overdo it and not to use too many adverbs in a sentence. Adverbs and sentences. Some adverbs can modify entire sentences. Unsurprisingly, these are called sentence adverbs. Common ones include generally, fortunately, interestingly, and accordingly. Sentence adverbs don't describe one particular thing in the sentence. Instead, they describe a general feeling about all of the information in the sentence. For example, fortunately, we reached the station in time. Or, interestingly, no one in the class seemed interested in drawing a cartoon. Placement of adverbs. Place adverbs as close as possible to the words they are supposed to modify. Putting the adverb in the wrong spot can produce an awkward sentence at best and completely change the meaning at worst. Be especially careful about the word only, which is one of the most often misplaced modifiers. Consider the difference between these two sentences here. Neha only fed the cat and Neha fed only the cat. The first sentence means that all Neha did was feed the cat. She didn't pet the cat or do anything else. Whereas the second sentence means that Neha fed the cat, but she didn't feed the dog or the bird or any other animal who might have been around. When an adverb is modifying a verb phrase, the most natural place for an adverb is usually the middle of the phrase. Types of adverbs. There are 5 main types of adverbs. Adverb of manner, which answers the question how. Adverb of place, which answers the question where. Adverb of time, which answers the question when. Adverb of frequency answers the question how often. An adverb of degree answers the question how much. Let's look at each one of these in detail. Adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner tell us how or in what manner something was carried out. They mostly modify verbs and can often be found at the end of a clause. This category comprises the most common adverbs and the ones that end in ly. Look at these examples. Beautifully, softly, quickly, well. Look at these sentences here. He wrote his assignment neatly. Or, I combed my hair carefully because it had lots of tangles. Adverbs of place. Adverbs of place tell us more about where the verb took place. These tend to pop up after the main verb or direct object of the sentence. Some examples of adverbs of place are above, below, everywhere, here, etc. In India, there are tea stalls everywhere. Or, clearly, there aren't any mosquitoes here. Adverbs of time. Adverbs of time give us detail of when the verb or the action took place. We usually see these kinds of adverbs placed at the beginning or end of a sentence. For example, annually, daily, monthly, recently, tomorrow. Look at these sentences. Lately, you've been rude to everyone around. Or, the newspaper arrives daily. Adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of frequency let us know how often the verb occurs. Therefore, they mostly modify verbs. These adverbs tend to appear right before the main verb in the sentence. Some popular adverbs of frequency are again, always, never, normally. Look at these sentences. I always read a book before bed. She usually shops at the Grand Market. Look at the table here. Always tells you about 100% probability of something happening. Usually talks about 90% probability. Normally or generally talks about 80%. Often, frequently talks about 70% of times something happening. Sometimes is 50-50. Occasionally is 30%. Seldom 10%. Hardly, ever or rarely is just 5% times something happening. And if you say never, something never happens. It is 0%. Adverbs of degree. Adverbs of degree tell us more about the intensity of the verb in the sentence. In other words, they describe how much or to what degree something happens. They can be categorized as low degree, medium degree, and high degree. Adverbs of degree can also modify adjectives and other adverbs and are placed before the verb they modify. Some examples are almost, enough, hardly, to. Look at the sentences. It's simply not enough. I'm so excited to move to Canada. After learning about these 5 main types of adverbs, another type that you need to know about is interrogative adverbs. The interrogative adverbs are why, where, when, and how. They are used to ask questions. The interrogative adverbs why, where, how, and when are placed at the beginning of a question. These questions can be answered with a sentence or a prepositional phrase. After an interrogative adverb in a question, you must invert the subject and verb so that the verb comes first. Look at these examples. Why is the garden in such a mess? Where is your sister? When are you going to grow up? How can you eat a full pizza alone? Remember, when an interrogative adverb starts a question, the second word is always the verb. That's all for now, dear learners. I hope you have understood the concept of adverbs really well. Stay tuned. I will see you in the next class. Until then, take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.